commander-in-chief. He's got to do domestic policy. But that military thing, if you could declare a war, declare an emergency, or declare some sort of crisis, well, then you have a lot of power as a war president versus a president who's not a war president. Even James Madison was a war president, but what did we get out of the War of 1812? We got our fucking White House burnt the fuck down. And the archives, and they destroyed a bunch of our history. Economy, jobs, immigration, crime, terrorism. I'm not for sure. I think crime's going to go up. I think the economy's going to go down. I think terrorism is probably going to go up. We have a war on terrorism. Terrorism is a terrible tactic, but then we got to use war against terrorism, right? So you got to smash terrorism. So in a way, you kind of need fascism to destroy terrorism. But terrorism is a tactic, right? It's a terrible tactic. So I kind of see that as going up. Jobs, I don't see him creating more jobs, right? It's all about the fucking rich. Give the tax cuts to the rich. Cut the regulations for the rich. Give tariffs. Make sure the big industries are taken care of. The corporations. Oh, they didn't create any jobs. The whole point of having a 90% tax rate for Eisenhower was to force the corporations to invest in themselves and to add more jobs. To invest in themselves and to increase their employment, because that's how most regular folks get jobs. They can't start companies, and they definitely can't start a company that could, go up against Walmart or U.S. Steel or some industry that's already entrenched. I see American people being further divided. I would like to think that the midterm elections would provide relief, but if the Democrats keep on doing their right-wing fucking anti-working class shtick, this wouldn't have happened with Bernie Sanders. He's against the news media, which legacy news media is bullshit. So Elon Musk adheres to the truth. Freedom of speech is a good thing. We can get to the truth with freedom of speech. So, but saying that the media is the enemy of the people, he's going to go after the First Amendment. I mean, speech might be protected, but what about, the right to petition, the right to freedom of the press, right to peacefully assemble? He was talking about shooting protesters and throwing journalists in jail and shit. If he doesn't understand the First Amendment, then, the Second Amendment, the Third Amendment, does he care about any of the amendments? When it came to the Second Amendment, Donald said, take the guns first. You got the Farm Bill. He gave $15 billion to the farmers, but then he said that was overly generous. That was probably McConnell, right? They had that big tobacco program, so a lot of farmers were on the fucking dole, getting free money from the government. So that was, the farmers were getting direct payments. The Farm Bill is a must-pass bill, just like the Pentagon bill, the military spending bill, right? So you got a military spending bill, a farm bill. These are must pass. Are we going to get immigration reform? Are we going to get healthcare reform, education reform? They should have a reform bill every fucking year on every topic. An economic reform bill, military reform bill, fucking housing reform bill. I think it's going to be worse with the banks. I think we're not going to have savings and loans. They're not going to give out loans to help people build homes. That's what Kamala was talking about. So I think the banks are going to get fucking worse and worse and worse. They're going to just keep on going for a profit. So that means we're going to see another housing bubble. We're going to see another housing bubble crash again. We're not going to see affordable housing. Rents are going to go up. And I know that when it was under George W. and when it was under Donald Trump, I despaired. I pretended that he wasn't my president at first. And that kind of helped, because what the fuck has the government done for any of us? But with Donald in the first term, I did feel like, what the fuck? Am I really out of step with my countrymen? But 77 million people voted for the maggot. But then you have how many people? He didn't win a majority. He didn't win a majority. And then that's the voting public. 50% of the people of America don't vote. So you're never really out of step with them. They don't even vote. So we're not going to see community policing. We're going to see a crackdown on violent crime. So expect more cops, more tattooed cops. Expect more criminals in the police force. Expect more unions between the Bloods and the Crips and the Trinidad Aragua and the MS-13 with the police. When the gangsters get with the police, that's a perfect, that's a marriage made in heaven. Especially if they just pick their one gangsters. You pick this, gang, you can sell your marijuana, but you got to snitch on all the other gangs. And then the police will cover up their crimes for them and help them get away with their shit so they can go around hurting whoever they want to hurt just like the police do. And then the police set the example. So they'll just go around attacking somebody, some random ass person. They don't give a fuck if it was just jaywalking, and then they'll rape them. And then the whole damn system will say it's okay to do that. That's America. We're going to give military equipment to the police, so let's expect mass militarization of the police. The police are going to go around, you got the mass deportation. What else are they going to go around fucking doing? Going to go after the drugs? Going to go door to door to see if anybody's got marijuana. Hey, you smoking that marijuana in there? Don't we have a right to privacy? Don't we have a right to our own homes? Don't we have a right to security? If everybody was smoking marijuana in their own homes, we wouldn't have the fucking problems that we have. Half the countries legalize the shit anyways. I think you're going to see more insider trading. I think that the stock market, you're going to see more fraud on the stock market. The Congress buys fucking stock. They made him sell his peanut farm. Meanwhile, they're buying stocks. They're still keeping their fucking businesses and corporations. The federal government had executed 13 people under Trump's administration, which isn't a bunch, but it's, 13 people. He says everybody's a killer, Bill. Everybody's a killer. So 13 people. It's not going to be just Soleimani. It's not going to be drone strikes on Nora, the American girl. As soon as he got into office, he killed an American girl with a drone strike in Yemen. And we're sucking Saudi Arabia's dick because we don't care if 9/11 happens 100 fucking million times. We've forgotten 9/11. The war on terror is dead and gone in body and spirit. Syria, we're happy that Al-Qaeda took Syria. We're giving Saudi Arabia all the fucking bombs and guns that they want. They like to execute a bunch of people. So don't expect the chickens to come home to roost. I think the federal government will execute more than 13 people. I bet you they'll look at what, Israel's doing. In exchange for 1,200 people getting killed, they've killed 300,000. What ratio is that? That's 300 eyes for one eye. So that's a 300% increase, right? No, that's a fucking 30,000% increase. So if we just multiply it by 100, that'd be 130 people. If we multiply it by 1,000, that'd be 13,000 people that the federal government will execute. Cops kill people, at least 3,000 Americans every year. So I expect more violence, more murder, more carnage, more bloodbaths. We're going to be shitty to Puerto Rico. The increase of racism, increase of anti-Semitism, increase of misogyny, all the discrimination. Going to hate the elders, going to hate the poors, going to hate the fats, just going to hate. Hate the blacks, the browns, the whites, just hate. Well, maybe not the whites. This is white supremacy's, last gasp, and hell, it just keeps on. It's almost like James Wilkes Booth. John Wilkes Booth has got fucking elected. Sic semper tyrannis indeed. Sic semper tyrannis, more chaos. The rest of the world will go to shit. They'll probably unite against the United States. You're going to see more revolutionary movements. They might try another coup d'etat in Venezuela and other nations. They might ban TikTok. They might have a fear of technology, especially if it's critical of them. Elon's going to get the robots and the drones, and we're going to have these robot and drone wars. School choice. That might be a good thing. Public education is shit. How come half the country don't fucking vote? Are they not being educated? You're not going to see any student loan forgiveness. You're going to have less people going to college. School choice, you're going to bleed public schools, so that's actually going to have more stupidity. I think the idea of public education is a good one, but it's kind of a conservative idea now. 200 years ago, it was a liberal idea. But I think now we need fucking freedom and democracy schools. If public education isn't doing Sudbury education, then you're just being told to shut up and sit down by some fucking Highfield, some bullshit fucking bureaucratic fucking douchebag.